holder.
Yeah, Steve Plater's really taken a shine. If you look at number 3, Ryan Farquhar going through. Ryan Farquhar's best speed on that opening lap, 118.5. 4 minutes 32.3, 8th quickest so far, but early days, of course, in this session. But we were talking about Steve Plater, and he's taken a real shine to the roads, and Macau Grand Prix, he's been spot on, and also now the Northwest 200, he's been the man to beat in the last couple of years. In fact, everything the last couple of years, and also best newcomer at the Isle of Man TT by some way last year.
Yeah, he had a fabulous ride at the TT, took it very maturely, went about it in a really good way. There's his teammate Ian Hutchinson on the other AIM Yamaha we're looking at on screen there now. And yeah, Steve Plater's pretty much dominated Macau, hasn't he, these last few years, really a real trier is Steve Plater. Some of those shots we see of his helmet and elbows rubbing against the wall at Macau, quite spectacular.
Well, I had the pleasure of being at Macau last year, and when he came in, and his leathers were scuffed up, there were dents in his helmet, etc. And I think he just tries that little bit harder, and I think he might just try that little bit harder here. I don't think he does at the TT, but I certainly think at the Northwest there is a little bit of room for risk-taking, shall we say. Yeah,
Steve always seems to be the one that's right in the edge of the curve there, doesn't he? He's the one that leaves less margin maybe than anyone else, and that probably is what it takes. And I know someone like John McGuinness, who sets the pace for himself, and if anyone wants to take any more risks than that, he's not bothered. What a great shot. That's up at the Mill Road roundabout, taken again the wrong way round. Really slow that is. It feels like you're going to fall off the bike and you're going so slow around there. Getting it fired out of there, very important as they come out of their first gear, second, third, fourth, fifth, all the way up through the gearbox as they head past the fuel station there on their right, down towards the station corner, which is so fast.
There are circuits all over the world, and the TT is similar, but these straights along here, there can't be anything like it. I mean, there's Solby Straight in the Isle of Man, but I don't think anything really comes close to these straights here at the Northwest.
No, you'd probably say lengthwise something like the Mountain Mile climbing up there, but of course it is an incline, so you're not doing as much as this. But no, this is the place where big horsepower makes such a big difference. You can sacrifice low down power and grunt out the corners if you can get the horsepower.
It will, of course, then maybe will that bring into play, for example, braking positions. All of a sudden, all the braking points from the years gone by, that will change as well.
Yeah, that's something that the guys are really working on now, is finding the last minute you can brake at. The good news here, Dave, is that braking into University, braking into the Metropole, those big long straights there is runoff area. So if you do just overcook things a little bit, there is some room to go. That's the beauty of it. So you can afford to experiment a little bit more. A question come in here from Mick Fairday. And Mick wants to know, how different are these bikes compared to the bikes we can buy in the showrooms? Well, hardly any, quite honestly. Some of the bikes that we're going to see out here will be super stock bikes. We're looking at super bikes now, but they all start off as a showroom bike, pretty much. They have about 50 grand spent on them on average, some more, some less, with some lightweight wheels, different shock absorbers. Sometimes they put different forks in and bits and pieces like that, but they're not far off, I can tell you. Engine gets tuned and modified, but even so, super stock bikes here, which are straight out the showroom, are only about 5 miles an hour slower.
A lot of the technology as well that we see in MotoGP, etc., does get passed on to the road bikes now as well, more so than you would say cars do from the likes of Formula One.
That's what racing's about, really. It's all about development, and the people that supplying these bikes, the factory teams, Yamaha, Suzuki, Kawasaki and Honda, all the development, or the majority of the development, is fed back from the racetracks straight into the road bikes. So the people that buy the bikes are the ones that benefit from it. John McGuinness, 122.478.
Yeah, they're up in the ante now, aren't they? Michael Rutter, 121.9. Guy Martin, 121.5. Cameron Donald's now gone fourth fastest, 120.6. Alistair Seeley, the joker in the pack perhaps, 120.4. He went so well last year.
Yes, he did, didn't he? As we look at Steve Plater, and again, he's got his wheels in the bottom of the gutter as usual. It's Plater man there, look at him. Man and machine, harmonious.
Yeah, he's a really quick racer, Steve Plater. He's had some big offs on the short circuits in the past. And he's been pretty good so far on the roads, touch wood.
That's the difference. The penalty is much greater, and so you have to leave that little sort of extra margin for the road circuits.
Certainly, as they go onto the coast, you can see coming down towards York, down from Primrose, he's not that close as you'd expect to those curves, and they're really high curves along this coastwalk.
Yeah, the great thing is that on the tricky places, you'll see, if you look carefully, a lot of the corners and the curves are ramped, as Steve has a bit of a shove there. Get out of my way, please. 2 in 1 as he's on it. Steve Plater trying to get some decent laps in now.
Ian Hutchinson possibly as well with a point to prove, was with HM Plant Honda last year and now with Alistair Flanagan and the AIM Yamaha team. And Ian Hutchinson's, well, he disappointing 2007 after a very, very promising 2006. Here he is coming into York.
That's an interesting split there because he stayed on the Pirelli tyres. Ian Hutchinson on the Pirelli tyres, Steve Plater on the other side of the garage has gone for Dunlop, so we're getting a real good indication of how things are working there.
Stephen Thompson, the local rider, again, local hopes perhaps. A dark horse, he's coming in. Stephen Thompson, 17th fastest so far, his average 116.6. Just behind William Dunlop, Steve Brogan, Adrian Archibald. Bruce Anstey, 6th fastest, 120.3. Ian Locker, 120.2. And Keitha Moore, 119.5. So we've got 7 riders so far in the 120s. As we look at number 13, Adrian Archibald.
Adrian running his own team now. I believe those bikes are prepared by the TAS team. They I don't know about whether they're last year's bikes or whatever, but I know there's a big involvement still with the TAS team, with Adrian riding number 13 here.
Yeah, Adrian's best so far, 117.6. But we go back to Larry Carter now. He's got Keitha Moore, who's a shade under 120 miles an hour.
Yeah, just under 120 tonight, Keith. Conditions obviously good.
Yeah, the conditions are really good. It's still a little bit dusty out there, but unfortunately I had a bit of an incident on Tuesday and managed to fire the show bike over the top of a roundabout, so we lost a lot of setup time, so we're kind of starting from scratch again. Just trying to get it set up. It's a little bit nervous. I think I've got it turning too quick, so I need to settle it down a bit.
So you've done some repairs to it, obviously, over the past couple of days, and you're just still trying to dial it in?
Yeah, just because, I mean, we haven't really been out the superbike before. I've only got one race on it at Tandragee, and you can't really tell too much from that, but unfortunately I made a bit of a silly mistake on Tuesday, like I said, and I lost a lot of setup time.
There's a little bit of perspiration coming off you there. Hard work tonight, Ian.
Yeah, I was kind of pulling the bars a little bit too much, and I was upsetting the bike. It was kind of my own fault. I just wasn't relaxed, you know, getting into it. But sit down, have a drink, talk to the mechanics, and try again.
Okay, Keith, thanks for that. Keitha Moore, then he had a tip-off on Tuesday night, if you recall, Steve, and it's still affecting him because they're still working on the front end of that number 24 machine.
Yeah, they are, and I reckon, Larry, you'd have a bit of perspiration on you if you'd have just gone around at that speed, because I know I would. I'd have all sorts of things coming out of me.
Keitha Moore scares me as well. Not the way he rides, he just scares me. But he's 8th quickest so far. The fastest man still is John McGuinness, Michael Rutter, Guy Martin, and we're talking about speeds and bikes. A little bit of mind games get played here. I seem to remember John McGuinness and Guy Martin having a little bit of mind games last year, and that comes into play, doesn't it? A little word here, a little word there.
Yeah, that's very true, and also a bit of sandbagging can also go on around here, because you just, if you feel that you've got a cracking bike and it's real fast, you don't really want to show everyone your hand. This is practice, of course. There's no points, no prize money for getting pole position, as we heard the guys say down there earlier. Steve Plater, he'd give away any pole position for a race win, and that's what it's all about. But you just have to be confident that your bike is working very, very well. Difficult to sandbag, but what you can sometimes do is just sit up a little bit early, break a bit earlier somewhere, so you don't show your hand.
There's John McGuinness, comes through. And still his best is 122.4, not improved on that just yet. Michael Rutter still 121.9, Guy Martin 121.6. So they're around 3 miles an hour, 2-3 miles shy of the lap record around here. And of course it'll be a little